Hello, everyone. It is February 21st. Welcome to Elden Ring Week. We've got JPNN here for you. A bunch of news not Elden Ring related, but we're going to try to see how many times we can fit the word Elden Ring into this video. Let us begin with a little news about Kickstarter. This past year, Kickstarter saw 441 video game projects hit their fundraising goal throughout 2021. According to data from ICO Partners, which is a company that observes the video games category on the platform, that it said the platform has broken its own record for funded projects 2 years running. This is my dog. Anytime I start talking like this, he decides to show up on camera. It is also the third time that over 400 projects have been funded in a year. The platform surpassed the milestone in 2014 with 413 projects and in 2020 with 429 projects. In total, funded projects in the video games category raised $24 million in 2021, slightly less than the $26 million raised in 2020. Kickstarter still a threat in 2021. Hopefully everything's going well for them over there. In the world of Riot, GameIndustry.biz is reporting that the Riot co-founder Mark Merrill, and former co-CEO is returning following his 2017 departure as the studio's president of games. He will be overseeing all of its current and future development projects. As announced by Riot CEO Nicolo Laurent, Merrill will look after titles such as League of Legends, Valorant, Teamfight Tactics, and Wild Rift. He will also oversee the studio's R&D plans going forward. Offered up a couple of quotes, such as Riot does more in esports entertainment, the most critical part of a company built for players will always be games, Laurent said in a series of tweets. Mark Merrill, he goes on to talk about Mark Merrill saying, it's already a privilege to work at a company where the founders are still deeply engaged years after they've passed the baton on leading day-to-day operations. Now, it's such an honor to see Mark Merrill step into the most critical leadership role in Riot's new chapter. Hopefully everything goes well for Mr. Merrill over there at Riot. Square Enix is out there talking about how they want to see older games remade in the HD 2D style. There's a new series from the Square Enix Japan YouTube channel called Asano Team Development Room Radio. It has been translated from the Famitsu article and tweets pertaining to the show. Famitsu pointed out a comment from the episode, which is Asano, the developer, mentioning that an order from Square Enix's president was that he wants to see more of the HD 2D technology in use for future games. One such game that Square Enix chose to give a crack at remaking with the HD 2D tech was Live Alive, which we recently saw at the Nintendo event, the most recent Nintendo Direct. Asano then continues that going after a long list of candidates, the chosen one was Live Alive, with ActRaiser being the second game that was considered. I don't know if we need an ActRaiser remake, but Live Alive never made its way to the US, so sure, bring it on. Epic Games is making hundreds of temp testers into full employees with benefits. TheVerge.com is reporting that the news first surfaced after an employee-facing memo obtained by The Verge. In the memo, the company writes it will, quote, offer full-time at-will employment to eligible U.S.-based contingent workers, and that, quote, many of those offers will be effective April 4th, 2022. It also notes that some workers will not receive the offer, citing, quote, there are a few exceptions in which it makes sense for both the worker and Epic to maintain contingent worker status. Epic spokesperson Elka Lux told The Verge that the game developer will hire, quote, a few hundred of its contractor and that, quote, most, but not all, are quality QA testers. Lux confirmed that all the workers will be eligible for the company's U.S.-based employment benefit plans and will also be directly employed by Epic Games. The studio currently contracts out QA testers and other workers through temp agencies, including Eastridge, Hayes, and NextF. Congratulations to all of those QA workers on the full employment. Probably a big deal. According to Steam, February 2nd, 2022, they will be changing some rules for discounts scheduled to start after March 28th, 2022. The time between discounts run on Steam will change from 6 weeks to 4 weeks, 28 days. And this means a minimum of 28 days between the end of one discount and the start of another. The discount cooldown period applies to all types of promotions and discounts across Steam, with the only exceptions being their 4 major store-wide seasonal sales: the Lunar New Year sale, the Summer sale, the Autumn sale, and the Winter sale. Also, it is not possible to discount a product by more than 90% or less than 10% of retail price. Kind of reads to me that Steam wants to make sure that they're actually getting their chunk of change on all that, as people do run sales nonstop. I feel like most games are already on sale over on Steam pretty much every single day. GOG, Good Old Games, is talking about Twitter that there will be no official GOG support on the Steam Deck. But since the device has an open architecture, as we understand, you can install Windows and also run GOG games on it. They're not going to try to support it. They're simply going to say, get Windows up and running. Let's turn our heads to more gaming-focused news here. Less industry stuff. The second Detective Pikachu game is still in development, according to a new recruitment advertisement from its developer, Creatures Inc. Originally announced in 2019, the sequel to Detective Pikachu is said to continue the story from the first game, is posted on Creature Inc.'s recruitment website and translated by VideoGamesChronicle.com. A programmer referred to as KT revealed that he is, quote, working on the sequel to Detective Pikachu, programming the drawing area, while also creating a system in the environment development office that will serve as the foundation for future game production in general. He also said, I am paying attention to technologies introduced in the latest game engines, such as Unreal Engine 5. All right. Capcom had their big countdown end last night. Their announcements were a Capcom Fighting Collection, which is a collection of 10 classic fighting games, including all the Darkstalkers games, Super Gem Fighter Mini Mix, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, Red Earth, and more. It's coming out on June 24th, later this summer. And alongside that, the heavily rumored Street Fighter 6 was announced with a brand new art style. People are calling it a realistic art style. It's most likely using the Resident Evil RE engine, which obviously looks very good. If you haven't seen the quick teaser, it's about 30 seconds long, and it features a very wide, very muscular Ryu, and a very sweaty. He also like tenses his arms, and you can see the veins, and it looks kind of crazy. Definitely go check that out. I want to see what other characters look like in the Street Fighter 6 engine, because it could be kind of wild. Could be kind of wild. Atlas ended its countdown, and it led to the announcement of Soul Hackers 2, which is a sequel to the 1997 Sega Saturn game. It'll be coming out in Japan on the 25th and worldwide on the 26th for PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, Xbox One, and Steam. Jumping back real quick, by the way, to that Street Fighter 6 news. Shortly after the game announcement, Yusuke Hashimoto went to Twitter to announce that he is going to be working on the game as a game designer. He was the creator, or game director rather, of Bayonetta 2, which could be kind of interesting for that. He's also worked on titles like Biohazard 3, Biohazard 4, God Hand, Star Fox Zero, a bunch of different things. So we'll see how that kind of works out with the Bayonetta 2 game director working on Street Fighter 6. Another Japanese company, Nippon Ichi Software, better known for Disgaea and Yes Games, has launched a teaser website for a new title. The website features a monitor depicting a man in a research facility who can move around and examine objects to find clues in the style of a pixel art game. An update on all of this is scheduled for February 22nd, I think tonight, at 0000 JST, or probably midnight tonight. We'll see what happens with that. I'm sure that'll be in Wednesday's news. Horizon Forbidden West came out last week, and it's selling well. Currently sitting at the top of the UK boxed charts. I think it's doing incredibly well. We don't have full numbers just yet. But according to GameIndustry.biz, almost a third of those box sales were on the PlayStation 4, which means, if you do the math, more than 70% of people who purchased Horizon Forbidden West paid the extra $10 and bought the PS4 version. Just like me. And a bunch of other people I know. So I guess Sony got that money. I guess they got that money. The Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster is coming out, or is out, I guess, by time of recording. And a bunch of the scenes have been overhauled with 3D. According to a bunch of reports on Twitter, there's also actual singing now for the operatic portion of that game. I don't know how I feel. We watched a trailer about it. It sounds kind of strange. It sounds a little bit weird. I like my Final Fantasy VI with, words that I can't necessarily make out. But go check it out for your own. The trailer's out there. It's about a minute long. Or you can watch Trailer Time tomorrow on YouTube and watch for yourself. Steam top sellers for the week. Last week, number 1, Total War Warhammer 3 Elden Ring, still not released, coming in at number 2. Dying Light 2 Stay Human at 3. The Lost Ark Vanquisher pack starting at 4, which is a brand new starter pack for that. And Cyberpunk 2077 coming in at number 5. Fallout 76, yes, you heard that right, has announced via Twitter a 2022 roadmap. We can take a look at it here real quick. This spring, they're getting the Invaders from Beyond. During the summer, Test Your Metal. There's new expeditions in the pit coming up in fall. And next winter, the Nuka World on Tour event. All of these will include new public events. Some of them will include things like Fallout World's update, the first scoreboard upgrades. We'll get new rewards, new seasons, with season 8 starting in spring all the way up to season 11 next winter. It's good stuff. If you're into Fallout 76, you're looking for more, looks like Bethesda has you covered. You can find more information on their Twitter pertaining to that full roadmap. Speaking of Elden Ring, they announced this morning the global release times via an image and a website. We can take a look here real quick. See where it's coming out in your region. I highly recommend going and checking this out on your own. For me, I'll be playing it on PC at 6 p.m. Eastern Thursday. But for other people, it could be the 25th. Or it could be, 3 p.m. Pacific. We'll see. Preload preload will be available 48 hours in advance to these times. So tomorrow at 5, it looks like when pre-orders will be going live. And that is, of course, if you do own the game already. Not pre-orders, preloads. You got to pre-order the game so that you can preload the game so that you can play the game at these specific times on Thursday and Friday. We'll see how that goes. I wonder what their online servers are going to be like. Most people probably play that game offline, but we could see. We could see. Steam announced that the Steam NextFest is currently back, and it's currently live for the February 2022 edition. For the next 7 days, you can browse and play hundreds of demos and join developer live streams over on the platform. As always, don't forget to wishlist your favorites so you get notified when they release. Looks like that starts tomorrow. Sorry, not today. That starts on the 22nd. Store.steampower.com/sale/nextfest for more information on that. In the world of rumors, a new Supermassive Games trademark has been discovered, which indicates that the studio isn't exactly working on its Dark Pictures anthology. Named The Quarry, the trademark, sorry, I went Boston for a second. The trademark covers Supermassive to use the title across game software, entertainment services, and computer programming services, all but confirming that Supermassive intends to use it for a new game. VideoGamesChronicle.com has this story, and their own sources have been able to corroborate the listing and suggesting that the Quarry will be published by 2K. A release is planned for later this year, they went on to say. 2K did not respond for comment. That wraps up the news for the day. Let's go ahead and run over to jpedia.net and check out the releases. Elden Ring, obviously the huge release for the week, but there is a handful of other things coming out, such as Destiny 2 The Witch Queen. That starts tomorrow. Not sure exactly what time, but I'm sure Destiny heads know exactly when that begins. There's also a game coming out called Martha is Dead. That launches tomorrow. Monarch, which I believe is from Atlas/Persona devs. That launches tomorrow. Racing fans will have a new Assetto Corsa on their hands on the 24th. And Swords of Legends Online, the Firestone Legacy, launching the 24th as well. Then on the 25th, it's Elden Ring Day, unless you live in a region where that game will be launching a little bit earlier. Atelier Sophia 2, The Alchemist of the Mysterious Dream, also on Friday. Grid Legends coming out Friday as well. And it looks like that will wrap up February for game releases. It's been a hell of a month. I'm sure your wallets are hurting with how many great games there are right now. And if your wallets aren't hurting, I'm sure you're tired as fuck like I am by how many games have been coming out. But it's not going to stop then, because March does have some bangers. We'll talk about that next week on the Monday version of Trailer Time and JPNN, which I'm sure both will be featuring whatever is the latest and greatest in video game news. That'll do it. Make sure to grab us on audio podcast format if that's something you want to listen to on iTunes and Spotify and wherever else you want to. As always, leave a comment, drop a sub, leave a like, do all that and more. For now, though, that's it for JPNN. Thank you guys for coming out. We'll see you Wednesday for the final episode this week, because Friday's Elden Ring. Bye-bye.